Now, when I hear of yet another case of fatal child abuse, my heart sinks. Initially, it sinks with sadness at the pain, the human loss, and the lack of love. But it then plumbs the very depths of sadness as yet again someone comes forward and says, "We will learn the lessons." They never, ever do. Throughout my 40-plus years in journalism, it's been the same, and it still is. Earlier this month, the father and stepmother of 6-year-old Arthur Lavinia Hughes were jailed for his killing. He was a joyous boy who made other people feel happy, his heartbroken grandmother said. 2 months before Arthur was killed, Hughes' mother had raised concerns with officials after seeing bruising on his body. But social workers had visited the home and concluded there were no concerns. 2 weeks later, Star Hobson's mother and her mother's girlfriend were jailed for her killing. Star's death has again led to widespread questioning of the role of social workers and the police after it emerged that friends and family had reported concerns on 5 separate occasions in the 8 months before she died. Now, when we heard it on the news at home, my wife remembered the first such case that she'd worked on as a production assistant at Southern ITV. Maria Colwell, who lived in Brighton, but died when her stepfather kicked her to death. That was in 1973. Since then, there have been many, many more. Victoria Clombier died in February 2000, aged 8. Victoria was tortured to death by her great-aunt and the woman's boyfriend. The subsequent inquiry exposed serious failings by the Child Protection Services and staff responsible for her welfare. In 2007, Peter Connolly was murdered. The death of Baby P, as Peter became known, resulted from the incompetence of almost every member of staff who came into contact with him. He'd been visited 60 times by the authorities in the 8 months before his death. And Ella Rose Clover was murdered in 2019, aged 22 months. Liverpool Crown Court heard chances to prevent Ella's death had been missed, as doctors believed that there was a medical reason for her bruising. And on and on and on. Reports, reviews, reassessments and the rest of it follow as night follows day, shedding as much light on what really needs to be done as night sheds light itself. As for those reports, even the best hit the rocks, stayed on the shelves or are shuffled away for fear of upsetting the social work world. Twice Lord Lamming has reported on these matters, on the case of Victoria Clombier and Baby P, and twice he has said the child should always be given the benefit of the doubt. When warnings emerge, he said, remove the child to a place of safety. He or she can always be returned safely should those concerns prove unfounded. But no, time and time again, it is the family that's given the benefit of the doubt. The parent or parents or the parent and partner. All too often, too, these are dysfunctional families. The signs are there to see, but the authorities are either blind to it or unwilling to be judged judgmental. So political correctness is preserved, but young lives are not. What's more, heads seldom roll. Ed Balls on the challenge of dealing with the Baby P case is well worth reading up in his autobiography. The resistance that he faced was staggering, but he resisted it, to his credit. I know that many social workers are low paid and hard pressed, but frankly, if a child's death occurs on your watch and actions were not taken, were delayed or avoided, well, the bell tolls, and it tolls for you. I may sound a bit harsh, but I'm angry. Decades of despondency have taken their toll on me. But as always, I am open to persuasion. If I'm wrong, if I'm cynical, if I'm too judgmental, then tell me. But so far on my Twitter feed, most of you seem to be agreeing with me. We have, however, assembled a terrific group of folk to share their experiences, their expertise, their prescriptions, and I hope even their optimism. As I say, my mind is open. I'd also like to hear your thoughts.